Thank you for attending this Connect Together event. During this event, we have automatic closed captioning available. Please go to the bottom of the Zoom meeting, click Live Transcript, and then Show Subtitles to turn them on. Before we begin, we'd like to take a quick moment to let you know how you can join an opinion research panel made specifically for British Columbians living with disabilities.
For 25 years, the Disability Foundation has been fostering meaningful experiences for Canadians with disabilities through outdoor recreation, social connectedness, innovative adaptive devices, and more. Today we are asking, how has the pandemic affected you? Help strengthen decision makers' understanding of your needs and experiences by joining an online opinion research panel consisting solely of people with disabilities and their caregivers. Make a difference in your community today. The Disability Foundation. Reimagine what is possible.
Did you know? Young adults with disabilities have a harder time getting hired. Break down barriers by sharing your story. Take our survey.
And with that, I will pass it on to Jade. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Victory. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for attending this presentation from SportAbility, which I am representing. Thank you, Victory, and the Disability Foundation for having us today. So I'm just going to screen share my presentation, and we can go from there. Great, so Victory, we can see that?
Yep.
Perfect. So as mentioned, I am Jade Werger. I'm with SportAbility BC. And SportAbility, we are a disability sport organization that provides physical activities and sports programs for persons with disabilities across British Columbia. So our sports include Boccia, para ice hockey, or what some people know as sledge hockey, Powerchair Soccer, as well as para soccer. So to start with Boccia, so for those who don't know, Boccia is, the way I describe it, the Paralympic version of bocce ball. So instead of the hard marble balls we might see outside, we use soft beanbag-like balls that is used to play in the gym. So this was a sport originally designed for people with severe cerebral palsy, but now is open and inclusive to people with a variety of disabilities. So Boccia, in short, really the goal, similar to curling and lawn bowling, is to score points by getting your colored Boccia balls, either the red or the blue, closest to the white target ball called the jack to score points. So in the slide, you can see kind of the different ways people can play Boccia, as well as a referee there measuring to count the score of that end. So you'll see in the top right-hand corner there, we have somebody that is using a Boccia ramp, and their sport assistant is next to them that assists them in play and helps them adjust their ramp to where they want to place their ball and make that shot. And this particular individual is also using a hand pointer to push the ball down the ramp. So we have the different ways that people can play. You can kick the ball, you can throw either overhand, underhand, whichever works most for that individual, as well as using assistive devices such as the Boccia ramp and the hand pointer and head pointers as well. Oh, too far. There we go. So here's some of the adaptive equipment. So as I mentioned, the ramps. So on the top pictures, we have a wooden ramp. So this is typically a kind of a starter ramp that we bring to programs and leave there for people to use. And then in the other picture, we have a ramp that's a little bit, we actually purchased this one recently. It basically has pieces that you can take off and put together. It makes it a bit easier for transporting, as well as adjusting the height and the angle of the ramp for a more desired shot of what you would like to take. And then the bottom, we have an image of a head pointer. So people might use something like this to push the ball down a ramp using the head movement. and then a hand pointer example on the right. And in the middle there, that's just the Boccia set. We carry these sets with SportAbility personally, and they're at our competitions and programs. So Powerchair Soccer is another sport that we have under a mandate. Let's see if this video works, but I'll tell you all just to adjust your volume prior to me clicking this video, because there is music and it might be loud for some of you. So. Not sure why it went to a separate thing, but it's never done that before. We'll see what happens here. Never had that happen yet, but we will see if it goes to YouTube here. Okay, well, maybe we won't see a video of Power Soccer today. Usually it works. Okay, so I'll just explain it then. That's unfortunate because that's a good video to show. But in Power Soccer, so this sport is a sport for power wheelchair users. So people that use their power wheelchairs, or if they are really into sport, are able to purchase what's called a Strike Force power chair that's specific to the sport of Power Soccer. So that is the image in the bottom left-hand corner. So to play Power Soccer, basically you have to have your power chair, and then we're able to attach what we call Power Soccer guards to the front of your chair that will allow you to kick the ball in the gym. So the sport is played in a competition. It's played 3-on-3 with a goalie. And yeah, it's just soccer rules applied with some modifications such as 2-on-1s and rules like that. So here, there's just a few examples of guard attachments. So the top two pictures are actually a guard that we replicated from the Vancouver Power Soccer Club that seems to work on most people's chairs. So it basically clamps around the foot plate of a power chair. And the reason we have come up with this guard, and we have referred to it as our universal guard, is because it seems to work for the majority of chairs that we come into contact with for people, and seems to be a pretty good starting place to attaching the guard for somebody who's just getting introduced to the sport, or if they come to try it. It's kind of a nice, quick, easy attachment. And then, as mentioned, the Strike Force chair at the bottom there, so that's the sport-specific chair. So this can be found at Power Soccer Shop, and you can make all your personal adjustments to it as well online there. And then we have an example in the bottom right corner of a metal guard. So this is where it's kind of an upgrade from the plastic guard. So we've worked with Tetris Society in the past to customize brackets that would attach to the track of a participant's chair. And then this guard is able to kind of slide in and use a pin to hold it there. And then when the person's done playing, we can pop it off. And just the metal guard's a little more secure, a little bit more stable, and easier to control the ball. And then our plastic guard in the middle there, just like the top pictures, just with a different attachment. So that's what we call a side mount, where the clamps clamp onto the bars of the foot plate for the participant. So in Power Soccer, I mentioned you pretty much, to be eligible to play, you need a power chair. So this isn't something that SportAbility can provide, but is a nice sport and an opportunity for people who are power chair users to come out and play. Okay, I'll see if this video works. This is for para ice hockey or sledge hockey. But if not, then I'll just explain it like the other ones. So. Great. So that was just a video from our women's para hockey camp we had, I think, back in 2018 or so there. So was a nice time. And that's something actually we're looking women specific camp to offer again this year. So if you follow us on our website or on our social media accounts there, you can keep up to date with us and what events we're offering. So to get into the sport of para hockey, so people typically know this as sledge hockey. We've just are trying to use the name para ice hockey so it aligns with what's being used across the boards and at the Paralympics. So basically, it's just the adapted version of stand-up hockey. All the same rules. Again, a couple of different rules in there that apply to para hockey, such as a penalty called T-boning. But basically, you have a sled with two skate blades on the bottom. So you can see an example of this in our bottom left-hand corner, that a person sits in the sled and uses the two, what I kind of refer to as mini hockey sticks or the sledge hockey sticks that have ice picks on the end of them to hold and push yourself across the ice for momentum and to be skating. So a few pictures here that have different styles of sleds. So you see the bottom one's pretty standard. Up top, you can see somebody who's a double leg amputee that has the protection around their kneecaps to play, and the sled on the far right of the screen, that just kind of shows all the different adaptations that you can make to it for people to participate. So for instance, there's higher back support, there's a push bar at the back of that sled. So a push bar would be used if somebody had a hard time independently playing on their own. So maybe their grip strength to hold the sticks can be a bit tricky. So somebody can skate behind them on stand-up skates and push them on ice to play. So those are just kind of some of the adaptations there. Para hockey does require a lot of core strength and stability, finger dexterity. But again, the sleds, such as the one with the high back and the push bar and head support, those can help for people to get out on the ice and play, or even if they just want to be out and skating on a field trip or with friends, there's some ways that we can help make that happen there. So the programs that are currently across the province that are being offered for each sport, there's a list here. Now, if there's a program that you don't see that's in your community, that's okay. That doesn't mean you couldn't play, which I'll get into a little bit on the next slides. But basically, if there's a program and not near you, not near your community, don't get discouraged. You can always reach out to us and let us know your interests. And we can either look into that community, see if there's more interest for a program to start, because we do want to provide access to sport for British Columbians as much as we can. So obviously doing that in a community where there's a high demand is what we want to know, what we want to do. So there's not one near you. Let me know if you're interested, and we can look into that. And for people that we might not have the interest in a community or the resources there yet, we also have equipment loans. So that's an equipment loan program where you can ask to loan an equipment to participate individually on your own, or if your program near you doesn't have the right equipment to support you, that's where we can also help as well. So you can see here we have programs on the island. So Victoria and Nanaimo, we have some different programs in the interior, Kelowna, Kamloops, as well in the lower mainland of Fraser Valley with Surrey, Vancouver, Chilliwack, and up north with Prince George and Quesnel. So outside of a weekly program, so that last slide, I had a list of the weekly programs. So that's if you wanted to go and attend and participate in one of those sports weekly, those are the communities that have a current active program. But outside of that, we have things really for across the sports where there are triad opportunities or introductory programs. So we've gone into community centers. We actually have triad opportunity for Power Soccer coming up in Maple Ridge on October 16th for people to come out, try the sport, and see if it's a nice fit for them. With the introductory programs, we also have kind of the pilot program where we'll work with a community partner to introduce the community to the program, and if it's successful or if it's something they want to keep going, that's where we take the next steps. Multi-sport days, so that's things where we might put something on where we have all of our sports out to try it, or in partnership with associations like Wheelchair Basketball, BC Wheelchair Sports, and other community partners. We also have development camps for all of our sports. So that's typically where participants can come out and focus more on skill-based and fun games, and kind of gain a little bit more from not just their weekly program, but a little more over a weekend where they're focusing on specific things. We have different tournaments. So for Boccia, we have Western Championship, provincial tournament, and in Power Soccer, we have what we call the Storm Tournament, Vernon provincial tournament, and in Para Hockey, our provincial tournament, as well as our Sledge Hockey Showdown fundraiser. All of our sports, we have opportunities for participants to kind of take their games to the next level if they would like that. So by that, I mean, we have provincial team training camps and provincial team competitions that we would send a team to in order to compete. So that would be athletes from across the province that have come together to form a team, and then they're able to have that more high performance the team competition. Our equipment loan program I touched on a little bit. So this is if people are looking to loan equipment from SportAbility, you can find that on our website under resources, and it's under equipment loan program to read a little bit more about that. But basically it just allows people to loan equipment for them so they can participate in sport if they can't access that at a program. And then on the bottom here, we just have some things that we did online. So this particular relates to COVID times. So we're still in the COVID times, but we're able to be back in person and operate in a safe manner at this time. So we're not doing a whole bunch online, but we had a Boccia Battle tournament, which is an app when we were not allowed to be in person in sport. And we also did a Boccia at Home program where we basically ran a program over Zoom for people to play Boccia within their home, which was a lot of fun. And then for Power Soccer and Para Hockey, we did skill competitions online. So we had people submit videos of the skills they were doing, and we had some prizes happening just to keep people engaged and active during the time where we couldn't meet in person. So ways to get involved. Obviously, a lot of what I focus on and talk about this presentation is participating as an athlete. Now, if you're somebody that's here to kind of learn more information, and maybe that's not where you're looking to get involved with SportAbility, we also have other ways. So the host to try it, I touched on what we've done with that. So we've done things with NeuroMotion, LifeMark. We've done stuff with schools, such as what's going on in that picture there. We have a space on our website for people to inquire about community engagement opportunities. So if that's something you're interested in, you can take a look on our website there and submit an inquiry. Volunteers, they're a huge part of our organization. As a nonprofit, we rely heavily on volunteers for events where we need scorekeepers or lines people or just general volunteers. We also have referees that have taken certifications and continue to donate their time as officials, which is a huge part of our events and programs. We have volunteers that run weekly programs. So for instance, our Vancouver Boccia program is run by a volunteer who is mentored and trained by us in order to deliver that program. So lots of volunteer opportunities, coaching, officiating, general volunteer, event specific volunteers, etc. So lots of ways to get involved there. And then our program partners. So all of our programs there's a partnership there. So for instance, our Vancouver Power Soccer program is volunteer driven. It's a group of typically parents and people that have been involved with Power Soccer that operate that program on a weekly basis with our support in the background. But then we also work with municipalities, community centers, what we call community champions. So volunteer organizations such as Kamloops Adaptive Sport Association, Northern Adaptive Sport Association, and yeah, just people that are willing and able to help deliver programs within their community, because without them, it's hard for us to be everywhere in the province to deliver these. So yeah, so that's another way to get involved. I won't get too much into this, but this is one of the things as a volunteer, ways to get involved is through classification. So within sports at a competition setting, athletes are classified to compete within their division so that it levels the playing field for people. So this is just a bit of information about classifiers. So they're typically people that are involved in occupational therapy, physical therapy, but then we also have a technical classifier on the panel. That would be a coach or someone who has a bit of experience in biomechanic experience with the sport. So if you'd like to learn more about classification, you can either shoot me an email or just Google it, even online. Boccia Canada and BizFed have a really good classification video where this actually came from on worldboccia.com that you can find to learn more about classification. Coaching. So I mentioned volunteers with coaching. So the way we support coaching and getting more people involved in coaching our sports at SportAbility is through our coaching resources, which are available online on our website. So there's a snippet of a picture from our para hockey resource of what kind of things it contains. So these are basically introductory skills and an introduction to sport for someone who's new to coaching, and it gives them ideas about some different activities or drills that they can use to incorporate these into a program. And we also have our Coach Masterclass program. So this is a program that really supports the educational side of coaching. So it's built out into what we call different pathways, and the coach that is associated with our programs can be a part of the Coach Masterclass and take as many kind of pathways as they want. So the first pathway, for example, is responsible coaching, which everyone's required to take. That would cover safe sport and making ethical decisions. And then the next pathway would be community coach. So that would be courses that would help a coach that's teaching in the community setting and just kind of help them feel more confident in their skills and knowledge and ability and their kind of awareness and supporting their coaching role within the program. So you can definitely check that out as well on our website. Just make sure I didn't miss anything. Perfect. So that's it for the presentation. I'm open to questions anyone might have. If you have any questions about our sports or just SportAbility in general, you can reach me at jadewerger@sportabilitybc.ca. And I mentioned earlier in our presentation that you can follow us on our social media networks and check out our website to stay up to date with what we're doing and just receive information that way. So thank you for attending, and I'll turn it back over to Victory and open to any questions.
Thank you, Jade. Are there any questions from the members of the audience? Doesn't look like there are any questions. In that case, thank you so much for your presentation, Jade, and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.